Good evening, everyone. It's Sunday night, and I'm getting ready to get my homeschooling stuff around for the week. I use this planner. It works really good for my needs. It's called a Simple Plan for the Homeschool Family. I like it because it's got each month right here. So it's got a tab for each month, and then you can open up for each month. Like right now we're in March, and so each week has a day, and it has different categories here. And here in the edge I've written in each of our subjects, and then I got each kid's initial with what they're supposed to do for that week for each class. So I'm homeschooling 3 kids right now. My 3 boys. Hannah's only 2, so she's not homeschooling right now. Although she tries to do her brother's homework, so I got her some workbooks that are just like ABC 1, 2, 3. So when I'm working with my youngest boy, she hops up in here and does her schoolwork for a little bit. So what I'm doing tonight is I need to fill out this week's assignments for each class. So I am going to fill this out. So here is the stack of books I get to go through. So I teach kindergarten, 2nd grade, and 3rd grade right now. So there's the books. Now Richard and Tim share some classes, like they do their Bible class together, so they share this book. They do the same thing. They do the same science class, but Richard's in 3rd grade, so he's got so his is more like a textbook and worksheets, but they're doing the same course. And so Timothy's doing for a beginner, so it's like all wrapped up in one, and then Richard has a teacher's guide and a textbook. So I line up the two because the experiments are the same, so I make sure we're on the same lesson. So that works out fine. And then they also share the same My Story too. Richard and Tim do. And Alex has a kindergarten one. So the K's are for Alex, 3's are for Richard, and then 2's are for... Alright, so now that this part is done, they each have a notebook. In their notebook, they've got, pencils, and I each got them an agenda. And what I do is I go through and I put all of their assignments in here to the agenda so they can cross out. So like this is last week's, they crossed them all out. So I'll put it in for this week. Take this information that's in my master book, which I will keep. So this is my master book, and they each get their assignments into their own agenda where they can go through and cross them all off. And that's what I've been doing this year. It's been working really well. It's kind of keeping me very organized. So that's what I'll do next. But before I put all these books away, so I'll let you know. Okay, so my story is a social studies class. So it's kind of like an intro to the different countries around the world, kind of like the highlights of each country, the languages they speak, what they're known for, the flags, the type of government. So this has been kind of cool. I mean, it's not super in-depth, but it kind of gives them a kind of intro into like life outside of where we live. So again, I did this series last year, so they did. Richard and Timothy did My Story 1 last year, and then we're doing the second one this year. Next year, instead of doing this class, they'll be doing American history and geography. And then Alex he'll be in first grade, so he'll do My Story 1, and so on and so forth. But so this year, this is what there's. So it's kind of like, social studies, a little geography, kind of intro to all that. And this is Alex's kindergarten My Story. This is Masterbooks. I think this is their first year for the kindergarten one. So it's kind of cool. It's just really stepped down. They just got a couple pages, do a little. And this is more like social skills, like what does stop sign mean, community, tools, heroes, kind of just really basic stuff. Nice little intro. Each kid does their, so this is our math books. What I like about this is like it's just, here, your lessons and your worksheets are all in here. So it's all one. So at the beginning of the week, there's a lesson that you read. There's a little story with the lesson, and then they just, this is Alex's still kindergarten, and then the rest of the week they just practice that concept. So that's kindergarten. And Timothy does, Richard's is in third grade, so it's just a third grade workbook. So, he's doing more. He started multiplication this year, math, rounding, times, all that good stuff. So that's the third grade math book. And then Tim's in second grade, which is between there. But the same concept. So if you have the big lesson on Monday and you work through the rest, you practice that concept the rest of the week. So, which I enjoy. And then for first, second, and third grade, and I think they got one for fourth grade, they have like an extra practice book that I have gotten. I got in a digital copy, so I get printed off. And then they have a separate notebook for that. So they have an extra page in that Monday through Thursday. Friday they don't have it. So that's been helpful too. And it also has quizzes for each quarter. This is the kindergarten book that I got for Alex. I did start him in a different program earlier this year, and it was just too advanced for Alex. Alex tends to be, he hasn't been diagnosed yet, but we're pretty certain he's ADHD, and it was just too much sitting, too much focus. It's a good course. Got it right here. Grab it. But I wanted to try The Good and the Beautiful, which is another great resource. I really liked it, but it was just a little too advanced for where Alex was at. And he's not into sitting and listening to stories, and there's a lot of like little stories and stuff, and it wasn't connecting with him. So I stopped this. I figured I could save it maybe for Hannah. We'll see how she does when she's in kindergarten. So instead we did a simple K. And again, we're going over our letters and different, just different main concepts. We live in the States, poems, alphabets, Bible verses, just really, and he's really grasping that. It seems to be working fine for kindergarten. Now I do like The Good and the Beautiful handwriting courses. I really enjoy these. Richard started cursive, which he is absolutely loving. But what I really enjoy about this is, they're color coordinated. So like up here, you have the dots. You follow the color dots to make your letters. And so you start with red, you go to orange, yellow, green, and you just follow around and practice your letters. I like how this is set up, and what's nice too, you have your writing, and there's always some kind of little drawing exercise. So just really working on that fine skill of holding the pencil and using learning how to use and write really well. I've really enjoyed these. Each kid has one of these. This is the level 3, so like 3rd grade he started cursive, which he's absolutely loving. He hates to write, but he loves to do cursive, so whatever gets the job done. Timothy, of course, he's in level 2, and they're just practicing the penmanship. Like, you want to find your letters, you might write a sentence, and then you got some kind of activity down here below. And then Alex is kindergarten, so he was level K, and again, his is smaller, so he's just learning practicing a few letters, and there's different activities. Like he had to a dot to dot here. He was supposed to, trace, or not trace, but copy these different little pictures. These are great. They just take a couple minutes. It just gives them a little extra motor skill, fine tuning how to hold the pencil and making your curves and writing your letters or whatnot. I've really enjoyed those. I really do like Good and the Beautiful handwriting. They also have math courses, science courses, and they do a lot of, like, if you get the digital copy, a lot of the digital copies you can find for free, and you just gotta print them off for some of their different lessons. So I would highly recommend checking this company out, Good and Beautiful. English, again, is all in one workbook, at least for, I think they do these workbooks up till the 6th grade, and then they change it. I'm only in 3rd grade, so that's what the highest of my kids are 3rd grade. So these seem to be good. One of the main reasons we started homeschooling was my oldest was really struggling with catching on to reading and writing. He does not like to write. He does not like to read. Like, that is, if he could somehow skip that every day, he would if I let him. He just struggles with it. He doesn't like it. It's not that he can't do it. He just doesn't want to. So he doesn't want to, so he doesn't practice. And he was starting to fall behind in school. Not to the school's fault. It's just, when you're trying to teach 30 kids, it's hard to get that one-on-one. And they were just pushing him so hard, like trying to get him to read farther than he was able to, trying to push that writing, and he was getting mad and frustrated. So I came across, when I was first looking at homeschooling, it was really scary. There's so many different curriculums out there, and a lot of them are so expensive, and we don't have a lot of money, and I was thinking maybe we won't be able to do it because we just financially can't do it. And then my friend told me about her kid did her math through these Masterbooks programs, so I looked it up, and they have the whole curriculums, and the price was right. It was in our price range, and what I really like is, like, it's small chunks each day. So, and there's lots to review. Like, if your child, like, doesn't get the first time or the second time, like, they're gonna go back over it. Like, it's not a one-time hit, but they're nice small chunks. You have to do a little writing throughout the week. Now, the one thing I didn't care about in here is how they handle the spelling words. Richard really struggles with spelling, and the way they handled the spelling words in this, it was just more trouble, and we weren't getting it. So I did something different with the spelling words. I went ahead and got these building spelling skills, and so there's 30 spelling lists in here, and you get your, let me get a week here. So the first day you get your list, you copy a couple times, and then for the next 3 days there's worksheets they have to help you practice them. This has worked a lot better. I know there's like things that you can plug in your spelling words and do that, and I don't have the time or the energy, and I was getting frustrated, and I was like, oh, this works much better. It's already ready to go. You just print them off. I just been copying and printing them off, and these work great. So I've been doing this for Richard and Tim, and we've just been foregoing the spelling words and Masterbooks. I just found that easier. And the nice thing about homeschooling is, if something's not working in a book or curriculum or a lesson, you can change it to make it fit for your kid. It's flexible. You can do what you need to do to make it work and help them grasp the concepts that you want them to grasp. So English, the English for, this is Tim's English book. Again, they're pretty much the same. For just different levels. They work the same way. And the nice thing is there's no prep work. Like, you open it, you read the lesson for the day, you work through them with the exercises that they're doing to practice, and that's it. Which I appreciate, because time's limited when you're trying to homeschool and keep house and cook and whatever else you got going on in your life. It makes it really, really nice. This is my first year teaching history class. Richard started history for 3rd grade, and we're doing the American story through Masterbooks. It's been going okay. Again, this is he's starting to get into the higher courses, so there's a textbook that goes with this, and this is the teacher guide. So this has the worksheets that go along with the textbook for each chapter. So I've been printing those off and working through them. He has a notebook that we keep those in. Same thing with this science book. So this is the teacher's guide. He has a textbook that goes with it. There's, we print off the lesson, the worksheets for each lesson. And the nice thing with this is it coincides with Timothy's. So, this is the same course. So this is Timothy's book, and this is one of the 2 books that Richard has. And what I like about this is when you're trying to teach multiple kids, if you can combine any courses, it helps. So, they're doing the same science book. They're doing the same Bible class, and they're doing the same history book. So it just kind of helps. They're close enough in age I can coincide those. It just helps me out so I don't have 2 extra lessons I have to do. So, again, this is the history, the American story. So, he has a textbook that has a reading in it, and then this is where all the worksheets and activities are at. Now, Tim's is more like the math book. So, it's a textbook and the workbook all in one. Okay, so, let me open up the. So, here's the lesson. This little short lesson. They have words that he can copy, and then there's some questions they have you ask, and there's always a worksheet, and then there's always a hands-on activity to help understand the lesson a little better. But again, it's nice because I can work on, the lessons are the same. The only thing is Richard's might have a supposed to read, so Tim will get to skip that day, and or if it's something that I can find a video on to include them on both, I'll do that, and they can watch it while I work with Alex or Hannah. So, yeah. So that's the science. Now, last year, I started this year, I wanted to make sure they were getting enough writing in. Timothy, my second oldest, really loves to write and read. It's his passion. It's opposite of his older brother. His older brother is all about math and science. He would do science and math all day long. Writing and reading. Now, Tim's, on the other hand, is the opposite. He does okay in math, but he really loves his passion is writing. He loves to read. He loves writing. He loves spooky stories. That is his passion. So, the last couple of years, I've had Richard and Tim work on these building writers. This is through Learning Without Tears. And it's just a little extra writing skill book that I've been having them work on. I stopped doing it with Richard because he's been doing more writing, long answers, short answers through his history and science. He's got more writing he has to do, and I was like, he just would cry over it. I was like, okay, it's not worth the tears. So we'll just forego that, and then I'm just having him write in a journal on Friday, whatever he wants to write, as long as, a couple sentences or whatever. But Timothy loves these books. So he's keeping it up, and I even bought one for next year for him. It's just nice. Like, they learn how to, like, they give examples, and then he gets to do his own. And it's just helping him really work on his writing skills. Like, he's written whole stories. Again, he really likes his scary movies, so he writes about zombies. He likes Spider-Man, anacondas. You know, he's all about the creep factor, so I don't know. We'll see where his writing takes him, but anyways, these are great. If you have a kid that really likes writing and he wants to do more, check out these building writers. It's just a little extra bonus that I found helpful for Tim, especially. I forgot to put this in my pile. This is the Bible class I'm doing with Alex. I think they came out with the third book. This is their second book. We already finished the first book, and these are just nice little devotionals. This is how great is our God, and they're indescribable devotions about God and science. So there's like kind of like a little science / devotional put together that I read with Alex. So, and he's been enjoying them. Like I said, they got how great is our God. And what was the other one? I think they have it in here. Is indescribable, which is the same thing. There's just different. There's 2 different books, and they have 100 lessons in each book. So that's what I've been doing with Alex for Bible / science. So that's I think that's pretty much the curriculum we've been using this year. I don't know if I'll do it in this video, but I got the curriculum for next year, so I might show you that. I might do that with the kids, because they're excited about it. They're always excited about what they're going to learn next year. So, yeah. So again, like I said, I'm going to take all this information and put it into their other books after I put all these books away. So and just like that, I'm pretty much ready for school this week. I know it seems like a lot of work to write down everything in my planner and then rewriting it in each kid's, but it really helps me just kind of get organized, make sure the kids know what they're supposed to do, and it helps during the week because then the kids can work ahead, especially first thing in the morning. Sometimes they're really motivated when they first get up, they eat breakfast, and they just hop on and work on their math or whatever they can do on their own, which helps me out, so I'm not like, okay, well, let's continue. It gives them a little more freedom and ability to do what they want to do when they want to do it, so that's helpful. Plus, it's just, I'm not sure how I'm going to utilize these. Our state's pretty lenient when it comes to homeschooling, but I want to make sure I have a good record of what the kids did, how many days they did school, what they did on those days, for just in case the state asks, or just for my own reference. I know they're only in elementary, but I want to start good practices now while they're young. I forgot to mention what the big boys are doing for their Bible. They're doing this Exploring Bible this year. It's just kind of a quick overview of like the whole Bible, little snippets here and there. They started in Genesis and they worked through the Old Testament. They went through some of the minor prophets, and now we're getting into the story of the Gospels. So, and I think this, like for this week, last week we went through the beginning of Luke and Mark, and this week we're working through Sermon on the Mount in Matthew. So that'd be good. So it's just kind of like skipping through the whole Bible, kind of give them a quick overview, guideline of everything, the main events that happened. So that's what the big kids are working on. I just want to mention that. I realized I didn't explain what Alex was doing, but I didn't say what they were doing. So that's pretty much what I do Sunday night for homeschool. I'll probably show you a little bit more throughout the week. We have a basket of books that they can look at while I'm working with Alex, or anytime they feel like reading. We've got lots of readers I've collected over the years. Once Hannah's done with school, my sister's going to be getting a lot of readers for her little boy, so they're well used. So yeah, cool. Spin around.
Hi.
Spin around. Hey, I just thought I'd show you what's in the book basket that I have for the kids to look through in the morning. So we'll just look at that real quick. This is why I don't do a lot of recording during the daytime when I'm trying to explain stuff. Right here. Alright, so here's the basket that I use. It's just a little plastic tote. I'm not sure where I found it. But anyways, but here's the books that we have in here so far. So we got Lewis and Clark, Prairie Dog for President Alex Timch. And then we got Earth and Beyond. I try to keep kind of things like what we're studying right now. So like the kids right now in science class, we finished up. We did weather, ocean, and we just finished up space, and we're getting ready to start like the Earth. So it'll be like rock formations, mountains, that kind of stuff. Next I have just some fun readers like Lucy Knows Best. I got that from the dollar store. Friends Help Each Other, Daniel Tiger. Alex is really into Daniel Tiger. This one's Around the World. Just got some cool kind of like your big things around the world. Great Wall of China, Big Ben, just little information. Just, some cool little readings. Hannah's little coloring book.
Still in there.
I also have these Kids Answer little magazines in here. My parents get the big Answers magazine by Answers in Genesis, and they come with these little kid answer ones. And so I got quite a few of these, and I keep the ones, I put ones in here that like kind of like what we're saying about. So like right now we're talking about the Ice Age and the flood. So, this one's the building of the ship, a Noah's ship, and the ark. This one's a little bit, Did I Evolve? Talking about evolution versus creation. So it kind of talks about that. This one talks about woolly mammoths during the Ice Age. So keep those in there. Okay. We also been getting these Focus on the Family Clubhouse magazines, so I throw those in here. We've got stories, and there's a kid magazine. Something they can read and do the different crafts and stuff in. Here's Journey Through the Creation Museum. So I just got pictures from the museum, and we're actually going to try and go to this summer. I've been to the Creation Museum before. It's pretty cool. So that's there. I got Planet Earth in here because of science. Again, I picked this up at the Dollar Tree. If you hit it just at the right time, you can get some pretty nice little readers. So this talks about, you know, the different continents, mountains, the Ring of Fire a little bit. You know, it's just kind of a little overview book. This book here, my dad picked up for the kids. God's Got a House. It talks about heaven and a little bit about that. This is about dinosaurs. Alex loves his dinosaurs, so is that. And I try to keep, like, Richard's just finished studying Lewis and Clark and George Washington, so I got books in here about full readers about that. Since it's springtime, I got this book of what happens in the spring. It's just an old, you know, picture book with different, you know, stuff in it, the mold. So that's in there for them to enjoy. And then I also have this mineral book, again, for science class. They're just, you know, just more exposure to where science lessons are. So if they pick it up, they might learn something new, you know, through this. So the other day they were looking through it, and Richard's like, I gotta find some geodes, you know. So just kind of give them what's out there in the world. And then I have the art signs in here. Again, just kind of little tidbits that they might pick up and just learn some tidbits. So that's what that is. The main time they use this is like when we're first getting started during the day, and it's kind of quiet when I'm working with Alex and that, and so they have the option to read a book or work on some schoolwork. I like a free read time, and then it's also out all the time, so if they get bored or they get, you know, wanting to read a book, there's some choices. And I try to keep it changed. Like when we were doing weather, I had weather books in here for science, and when we were doing the ocean, I had ocean books in here. And I try to change up the little fun readers. We got lots of different readers, so I try to keep those changed every so often to make it more enticing. So that's my book box that we use for homeschooling. Alright, so every morning we have, we do a couple worship songs in either a devotional or exercise video. And then we get into it.
Hey, I found W.
Nice. Good job, Alex. Give me a thumbs up.
No. I found unicorn.
A thumbs up.
What? No. Four. Yeah. What do you want to have? 5. Oh. Here, look. This matches 6 shirt. This matches shirt.
So, Richard, do you like American history?
Yep.
Do you like being homeschooled? Kind of.
Are you thinking of feeling of me right now?
Yeah. So, Richard, what's the best part about being homeschooled?
Mom,
Is it the fact that you can go help Dad out in the barns every once in a while?
Mom,
Thanks for watching! And don't forget to hit the
subscribe button
and like this video.
Bye! Bye! What's this?